What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHerelady. This story's called, Being a Nerd Does Not Mean I Work at Hot Topic. It doesn't mean I work at GameStop either. This happened about a year ago, but it still makes me laugh to this day. Here's the cast. Awesome Hot Topic employee. Awesome GameStop employee. Me, a bona fide nerd. Idiot Karen. It was actually on Black Friday, which I needn't tell you brings out all the Karens. However, it had been a surprisingly Karen-free night and day, right up until my group went to the mall. I was out with my mom, my dad, my aunt, my uncle, and my grandmother. After spending some time out at a shopping complex elsewhere, we decided to go to the mall and do an escape room. Because what person that's been up since 3 a.m. and is surviving on energy drinks doesn't want to do that? All joking aside, it was a really fun way to end the day. But this is an IDontWorkHerelady story, so of course we need the twist. When we got to the mall, we discovered that they were going to need some time to prep the escape room, because some people had just come out of it and they needed to reset the puzzles. Fair enough, we decided. So since we all had phones of our own, we decided to give them my mom's number and they would text her when the room was ready and she would text the rest of us. Since Hot Topic and GameStop were both close by, I decided to go do some browsing, see if any shirts from my favorite anime or games had come in at Hot Topic, and see if GameStop had any games I wanted for my new PS4. I went to Hot Topic first and noticed a My Hero Academia keychain with one of my favorite characters, Kirishima, on it, and mumbled about how I wish the poor boy had more merch and popularity. One of the workers, awesome Hot Topic employee, happened to overhear me and commented that she wished the same, and how sad she was that people only really paid attention to the guy to ship him with certain other characters. We kept talking about this particular anime for a while, and then she decided she had to go stock shelves, so I continued my browsing. As I was looking at the jewelry, I happened to hear an, "Excuse me, can you please help me?" But I ignored it because I don't work here. I mean, I kinda look like the kind of person who would work at Hot Topic, since most employees here tend to wear video game, anime, or band shirts and lanyards with various pop culture themed buttons on them. But those lanyards will always have a badge at the bottom saying staff or whatever their position at the store is. But I didn't have any such badge. I was wearing a My Hero Academia t-shirt that I had bought the previous month, jeans, a heavy blue coat, gray and black sneakers, a Hufflepuff baseball cap, and a 2018 graduate lanyard that I think I got from the dollar store, with buttons from various games and shows, mainly Pokemon, all over it, and my library card and a thumb drive attached at the end. Anyways, in comes our Idiot Karen. Idiot Karen walks up to me as I'm looking at the jewelry and grabs my wrist, basically forcing me to look at her. Now, you wouldn't know this about me unless you were close to me, but I hate being grabbed by the wrist. For me, it's almost the same thing as slapping me. I should also mention that while I don't do that much martial arts, I do know how to get out of a headlock or wrist grab, so I instinctively do the right move to pull my wrist away. Because Idiot Karen was pulling so hard, she actually fell backward and landed on her booty. The following conversation ensued. "What the actual heck?" "Look, lady, I'm sorry, but I really don't like being grabbed by the wrist. Someone grabbing me by the wrist is the equivalent of being slapped to me. And besides, you really shouldn't grab people by the wrist anyways, because something like this, or worse, could happen. You never know what might make someone uncomfortable or make them lash out." "Well, it's your fault for not helping me. I swear, freaking millennials these days." Suddenly realizing how I'm dressed and how she might have made the mistake. "Oh, I'm really sorry, but I don't work here. I'm just a giant nerd." "Oh, sorry then. If it isn't any trouble, can you tell me where to find the..." Insert anime character that I can't remember here, Funko Pop? "I'm really sorry. The Funko Pops are all along the back wall of the shop, but I don't know how they're organized or where that one would be. I guess my suggestion would be to look along the wall, and if you can't find it, then ask one of the employees for help. The easiest way would be to ask the person at the counter, or look for someone with a badge that says staff on it." Our Idiot Karen walks off to look for her pop figure, and I think I've dodged a bullet and finished with my browsing before heading to GameStop, since my mom hasn't texted me yet. I think I was pretty reasonable with the lady, given that I was running on about 3 hours of sleep and 2 energy drinks, yet didn't explode on her. How naive I was to think this was over. I get into GameStop and decide to put my lanyard in my purse, since the thumb drive on it is what I used to back up all my school assignments, and I really can't afford to lose that. This is somewhat important later. Anyways, I get to browsing their PS4 selection and find a few games that I want, and ask the employee at the front if he can hold the games for me, those being World of Final Fantasy, Persona 5, Uncharted the Nathan Drake Collection, and Stardew Valley. Score! He asks how long he needs to hold them, and I just give him the date I get paid, since it's easier that way. He says he won't be able to give me the Black Friday prices then, but I reply that I'm okay with that. GameStop regularly has pretty decent sales, so I'm not worried about cost. I get the text from my mom saying our escape room is ready, but as I'm heading out, I notice that some of the games got left on the floor by jerky customers too lazy to pick them up. This is a pet peeve of mine, so I decide to be nice and at least place them on the shelf, since I had no idea where they were originally. Keep in mind that the GameStop uniform is nice slacks and either a black polo with the store's name and logo on it, or a black t-shirt with the store's name and logo on the front, and an ad for their rewards program on the back. Again, I am in an anime shirt, a heavy coat, jeans, sneakers, and a baseball cap. Insert Idiot Karen here. Idiot Karen spots me and rushes over. "Oh, so this is where you work. It's so nice to see a friendly face. I'm looking for a PS4 game, but I pretty much never come in here, so I have no clue where to look." I don't work here either, and I was just about to leave. "Don't lie. I just saw you put those games away." Well, my dad used to work in retail, so I have an understanding of how hard it can be. I put those games back on the shelves for its console because it's a pet peeve of mine, and I wanted to help these people out. I'm serious, I really don't work here. "Stop lying to me. You weren't being nice, you were stuck in shelves." Me, remembering the Princess Bride as awesome GameStop employee comes over and channeling my inner Wesley. "I'll speak slowly and use small words so you'll be sure to understand, Karen. I don't work at GameStop. I don't work at Hot Topic. I'm just a huge nerd." Thank God for awesome GameStop employee, because I was about to lose it on this bench. What seems to be the problem here, ladies? "This employee is refusing to help me and lying about not working here. I know she works here because I saw her putting games away. I demand to speak to your manager." "Ma'am, I can confirm that she doesn't work here, nor has she ever. She shops here regularly, and she helps us pick up items that got put away in the wrong places. But she's not an employee, nor has she ever been." "Stop defending her. I want to speak to your manager about both of your behaviors." "Very well, ma'am." I didn't understand why awesome GameStop employee was doing this until she pulled the most bad booty move I've ever seen at a GameStop, and walking 3 steps away, turned around, and then came back. "Hi, I'm awesome GameStop employee, and I'm the manager. I believe you had a complaint about a customer being honest and saying she doesn't work here?" Idiot Karen's mouth drops open in shock and embarrassment. And then, right as she goes to speak, awesome GameStop employee interrupts her. "Ma'am, if you'd stop running your mouth for about 5 seconds, you'd notice that this young lady isn't wearing our uniform. GameStop employees are required to wear slacks with either a black polo with the company name and logo, or a t-shirt with the company name and logo on the front and information about our rewards program on the back. We also wear lanyards with badges that say staff on them. This young lady is wearing a bright green shirt with an anime character on it, jeans, and no lanyard. She doesn't work here." "Well, she had one earlier when she was at Hot Topic." Which I took off because I didn't want to be mistaken as an employee again. I basically use it to hold my keys, library card, and flash drive. It's not part of my work attire. I'm an office worker. I don't work at a GameStop, and I don't work at Hot Topic. Before Idiot Karen can get another word in, I look at her with the dirtiest glare my baby face can muster. Once again channeling the Princess Bride. "Hello, Karen. My name is me. You killed my mood. Screw you." As I'm walking out of the store now, she goes to open her mouth, but I turn and glare at her again. "And if you see me at Mythic Escapes, I don't work there either. If you ever bother me again, I'll consider it harassment and call the police." I wasn't really about to ruin this lady's life, as I was pretty sure that her bad mood was partially because it was Black Friday and she was tired as heck. But I also knew it was the only way she'd leave me alone. Thankfully, she did, and my family had a field day with the story I told them later. I actually went back to the GameStop later to get my games, and it turns out that the lady freaked out when I pulled out the Inigo Montoya line, because her name actually was Karen. Okay, so that Karen's Karening days are definitely over because she is spooked. This story's called Grandpa Shuts Down the Gas Station. In the 1950s, my grandfather used to work in the rail yards in Beech Grove, Indiana. He picked up a part-time job at the gas station near the yards for extra money. He was the only employee at the station from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. when it closed for the night, so he was responsible for all closing activities. After a few years, he picked up more hours and a raise at the rail yard and quit the gas station. However, the station owner had never removed my grandfather's phone number from the employee call list. So, occasionally, he'd get a phone call from an employee, usually somebody trying to find somebody else to cover their shift. He would tell them that he no longer worked there, and that would be the end of it. One night, after 11 p.m., my grandfather got another call from the station, from a new employee who was having trouble closing out the sales for the day. The call woke my grandfather up, and while irritated, again explained that he no longer worked there and the employee needed to call the station owner. The employee explained that he tried to call the owner, but nobody answered. He walked him through the issue and asked him not to call back. The next week, another call after 11 p.m. from the same employee, again having trouble closing the till. Again, my grandfather told him to call the station owner, but the owner wasn't answering his phone. And then, the next week, another call from the new employee after 11 p.m. Now, my grandfather was completely aggravated and now took action. He said to the employee in a rather gruff voice,
"Here's what I want you to do. Take all the money out of the cash register, leave the register open, and just go home. Don't even lock up. I'll come in tomorrow and take care of it. Don't do anything else until I call you."
The following morning, my grandfather gets a phone call from the station owner who says, "Did you tell my employee to take all my money and go home?" My grandfather confirmed that he did. The station owner says, "Who do you think you are? You're not his boss." My grandfather replied,
"I haven't worked for you in 2 years, but your employees keep calling me. Do your darn job and answer their calls. Take my number off the employee call list, and if I ever get another call again, you're gonna regret it."
That was the last time my grandfather ever got a call from the gas station. He never found out if the new employee got to keep his job. Okay, that is kind of ridiculous. I 100% feel for the grandfather here. I would be so angry if no one took my name off the call list. But then again, you could just block the number, but I don't think you could do that in the 50s. Why don't you guys tell me some annoying work calls you've received from a place that you no longer worked at? I'm curious. This story's called, "I don't work here, I work in that Points Ambulance." Years ago, in the early 2000s, I was working 24-hour shifts on an ambulance. Since we were working these extended shifts, we had a kitchen and whatnot at our station. So if we didn't have a call right at the beginning of our shift, after our rig and equipment checks, the first thing we do in the morning is grocery shopping for the day. Now, just to be sure it's clear that there's no possible way for us to be mistaken for the uniform of the store employees, we wore blue button-down shirts, had a patch on one arm that said State of Redacted, and our certification level, either EMT Basic or Paramedic, and on the other arm had a patch with our company logo on it. We had dark blue pants with about 500,000 pockets, radios on our belts, etc. The grocery store employees' uniforms were either a white or tan shirt and black pants, and usually some type of apron with the store logo. The last bit of info I should add is that the area we worked in was one of the richest neighborhoods in our metro area, and usually the cheapest car you saw in the parking lot was a Lexus. So now that the stage is set, comes our adventure. My partner and I were at the store doing our shopping for the day, and it was relatively quiet Sunday morning. Other than us, there were only a couple of other shoppers in that store, and several employees were plainly visible during their morning duties. I'm busy trying to decide if I want link or patty sausages for my breakfast. When I hear the classic, ahem, I'm pretty engrossed. Because, let's be honest, it's an important decision, and now I'm weighing bacon into the mix too, and I really don't pay too much attention. Then I hear it again, accompanied by finger snapping. I'm broken out of my sizzling reverie by this, and think maybe I'm blocking someone's access to the cooler? Turn around, and there's this lady in her 60s, dressed up way too fancy for an early Sunday morning grocery run, and she's glaring daggers at me. I'm sorry, ma'am, am I blocking your way? No, I need... Can't remember the exact item she was looking for. I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm not an employee. I work for, redacted, the ambulance company. However, I've seen a couple of employees a few aisles over. I'm sure they'll be happy to help. Young man, you will do your job. I need you to find item for me. Ma'am, again, I'm really sorry, but I do not work here. I work on the ambulance you had to walk past to come in. We always park right up in front just in case we get a call. Now, I apologize, but I need to finish my shopping so we can get back to the station. I reach into the cooler, grab a package of bacon, because bacon always wins in the end, and plop it into my basket, turn and start to leave. And this crazy old bat decides to shove her cart in my way to try to block me from walking away from her. Young man, my husband is... Name that apparently she thought I should recognize. And my shopping here pays your wages. Do your job and help me now. Between the crash of her cart hitting the cooler and her escalating tone of voice, we've, thankfully, caught the attention of one of the store employees. They come around the corner and turns out it's the store manager. I recognize her because we've run calls at the store before. Mrs. Name, please calm down and I'll gladly help you. She's getting wound up to start yelling again, and about that time, my radio starts going off. When we're assigned to a call, it starts beeping very loudly. I silence it, turn to the store manager, and apologize to her for running off and leaving my groceries in the cart. But we're getting a call and I have to go. She's very understanding, and as I'm walking off, I hear the old bat asking, yelling at, the store manager, where does he think he's going? I need item! And her reply, presumably to his ambulance to respond to that call, since that's his job? Okay, yeah, entitled people aside, 24-hour shifts? How? Okay, someone explain in the comments below, please, how these 24-hour shifts work. Do you have to constantly worry about getting ambulance calls at any given moment? You know, like you could be sleeping, and then it goes off and you're like, oh crap, someone's dying, I gotta go. You know, is that a thing? Do you get paid well? Because that's a commitment right there. 24-hour shifts like that, ugh. Like, I understand that you're not constantly working for the 24 hours, unless you are, in which case that's just cruel working conditions. But like having to be alert for those 24 hours straight, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of, oof. Or is it like one of those things where you get, you know, 1 day on, 3 days off sort of thing? It's 24 hours. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting stuck on that, but that's just, woo, gaga.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.